I'm going to talk about spiral boning and what you need to do and how to shorten it to your desired length. So let's talk about the boning itself. So this is spiral boning. And if you go to a store in the US, a lot of stores will sell it to you in the length that you want it. So if you can ask for 2 yards, which some of you might have done, and they will cut it and then tie it up and sell it to you that way. And you will also need to have extra caps. So these are the caps, okay? You need the caps because after you cut off the length of cut off the boning to the length you want, you will need to put the caps over it so it won't scratch or it won't poke holes into your garment. All right. So the reason why it's called spiral is because it comes in a wire and you do a little twist, right? So it's obviously made by machine and it comes in a spiral. What it allows the boning to do is to twist and bend in whichever way you want it to. So this is the most desired boning for especially down the princess seam, okay? Because it's going to mold the body the best. All right, so some of you might have ordered from the internet and it will come in pre-measured, which is fine. So they work the same. It's the same type of boning, except they already put caps on both ends. However, you are never going to be able to find, or you are very unlikely to be able to find the exact length that you want. Therefore, we buy a little longer. We can just cut off to the length that you want, and we can put the caps on the other end after you cut it off. All right. So next, we're going to talk about the tools you will need to cut off the boning and to apply the caps on. So first of all, you will need a wire cutter, a good one. So this is my preferred one because it will give me a very clean cut without using a lot of force. Okay, and you also need at least 2 of these pliers. One of them is like this. This I like because it's on a wider edge, so I can really hold on to the cap. And this one, needle nose pliers, which most of you have from your foundation year. So these 2 I have, and sometimes I have a third one, just in case, because I have it. And you also need a permanent marker. I will use a fine tip, so give you a better accuracy of when you mark your boning. All right, so let's go mark your boning now. Okay, so let's say this boning is, I think about just a little under 10 inches. Okay, so, and I need, for example, if I'm boning that I need is 8 inches, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I start, I will mark right where the 8-inch mark is. Okay, you use a permanent marker because it will stay on better on a metal surface. Okay, now that I have that spot, I'm going to use my wire cutter. Now, you can try to cut it, the whole thing like this. Okay, it will be a lot harder. So what I like to do, because it's metal wire, you just need to snip off the wire. I can just cut out halfway on this side, and it's a lot easier that way. Okay. Right? So I cut out one wire, the whole thing falls off. Right? But however, I'm not really cutting right at the edge. So I'm going to have to come back in and cut where the length, exactly where I mark it. Okay? So sometimes you may not get it right the first time, which is okay. And if I flip on the other side, I will be able to cut off the other wire. Okay, it may fly somewhere, and just be careful and pick it up so you're not hurting yourself later. All right, so now I have it to the length I want. Now I'm going to pick up the cap. And you can just slide it in to your boning. Okay, so just double check your length. Okay, you're gonna go back and you're gonna put it back onto your ruler and make sure by the time you finish, it's the length you want. Right now, I see my length actually I gain about 1/16 of an inch. Okay, if you see that 1/16. So you can do one or two things. You can come in and you can try to clip off one more ring, which I'm gonna do. Okay, I have to find that edge and have it still show on the camera. Okay, let's see. Okay, all right. So let's double check again. I'm gonna put the cap on. Okay, so let's see. Oop, it fell off. Okay, so this is exactly what I want. Now I have to tighten it. Okay, so this is a little tricky for the camera. So the first thing I do is I use the wider pliers, and I'm gonna hold my caps this way. So let's see if we can show it better this way. Okay, so I'm gonna hold it. Okay, it's gonna, it doesn't take a lot of strength at this point, but you wanted to hold it really tight. And then you're gonna bring your other pliers in this way. Let's see if I can get in. Okay. Okay. And you're gonna press those things in. The two little tip on both ends. Basically, in the sense of whatever you do is you're gonna flatten it, right? If you flatten it, and it will be very secure. So let me. Okay. Now it may appear that you have done it, okay? But the safest way to check is you're actually gonna take it off, and you have to kind of feel if you have pull a little bit here and there. Okay, it's pretty flat, right? So it's pretty secure. That's what you want, because the whole point is that it has to be completely secure, right? So compared to the other edge, if you want to look closely, this is completely flattened, right? The other edge that came with the boning itself, because it was done by the machine. So this is easy. The machine would just clamp it in both ways and completely flatten it. It's very secure. But since you're doing on pliers, okay, you can come back and you can use your plier again to flatten it one more time. Okay, some may find that if you flatten again, it will, if you flatten this way afterwards, it may spread it open again. So then you have to go back in and do this, do the same thing again. And then just find that little area. Yep, and then you squeeze it. And that should do it, okay? So make sure it does not fall off, okay? Make sure it's really tight, doesn't fall off. Now, if it falls off, then you have to tighten it again. All right, so sometimes you may go through this and you may end up ruining one or two caps, and at the beginning it's very normal. So you can just go back and squeeze it tight until it's completely secure.